This episode of the Blerd Mob contains explicit language. While we want everyone to enjoy the show, sometimes we may say things that are not appropriate for all ages. So, in other words, Mom, Dad, Granny, we cussing. Discretion is advised.
King G, Grow Site, ENT. Rock with it, rock with it, rock with it, rock with it. Let me pop my shit. Let me pop my shit. Hands up.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Blerd Mob, your hub for all things black and nerdy. I'm your host, Phoop, joined by my co-host, Ryun. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other streaming service, make sure you hit that follow button so you can get updates from the mob.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on those bell notifications for future uploads.
So we're back with episode 20. Can we just give a round of applause that we've made it to episode 20? I know we've done a lot of other stuff. We've done mob reviews, we've done Versus Tuesdays, but as far as regular episodes, 20 episodes is a milestone. So I am excited to get into 30 episodes, 40 episodes, 50 episodes, but this is a milestone for the Blerd Mob.
We need to pop bottles once we hit 50.
Yeah. Sadly, we are not able to celebrate this milestone with Ralph. He's out on vacation, so he'll be back. But I want to start this conversation to talk about Tekken Bloodline. So Netflix released a anime, Tekken-based anime, and the first thing I thought about when I saw it was okay, so this is Tekken doing something in, I wouldn't say in competition, but maybe in response to Mortal Kombat and the deal that they got with HBO Max with the movies. And I've watched 4 out of the 6 episodes that are on Netflix, and Tekken Bloodline might be something serious if they continue with this. So it's basically, this first season is basically an origin story of Jin, Kazama. You guys know Jin, and then you got Devil Jin. And it goes into basically how he got up to the point that he is. And then, which you could see it as it relates to the first Mortal Kombat movie, is how they basically tell you how Mortal Kombat got started. They introduced starter characters, so Jin, for Tekken, starter characters, Jin, Heihachi, Harwang, King, Paul, and then when you get to the 3rd or 4th episode, they introduce the Devil Gene, which then they get to talking about Kazuya, and the fact that Jin also has the Devil Gene. So then it alludes to the fact that they're going to get to Devil Jin some point in the series. So I think I like it so far with them starting over at the beginning of the storyline, because the weird thing for me, with fighting games, I didn't understand that fighting games have storylines until I really got into Mortal Kombat, and then everyone's yeah, it's a story, so they're just adding on top of stuff that's happened in the past. And I was okay, because to me fighting games was just okay, we show up, we go fight, here's some characters.
So when you say you got into Mortal Kombat, which Mortal Kombat? You talking about X or 9? How old, what age range were you?
X. We'll go X, because I grew up on Tekken, while I've had friends who grew up on Mortal Kombat, but I grew up on Tekken.
So you didn't see the story in the Tekken that was on PlayStation 2 on the red disc? Was that Tekken 4?
I just always went to the fight. I just always went to the fight mode.
Huh.
Anytime I played Tekken, it was straight to the fight mode. Now, I did have a Tekken tag team game on PSP that broke down the individual stories for each character, but I guess I never put it together to these people cross paths or whatever. And then, but I would say this, watching the series gives the break, everything is making sense with the series, like them just doing like the starting and how everybody gets introduced and like the relationships and stuff like that. I think it's very nostalgic for Tekken fans because I'm like seeing characters that I used to play with on the Tekken game.
So everybody's obviously going to compare this to the Mortal Kombat animated movies. How are the fight scenes? Is it animated properly? Does it look good, fluid?
the fight scenes are nice. Now they are not as intense as the Mortal Kombat ones because Mortal Kombat takes it to that extra level of where
Mm-hmm.
you killing folks, but Tekken, I would say the part that I am at now, the worst thing that they have done is they've broke somebody's leg during a fight. But the way that the fights are
Okay.
animated, I think they're animated really well. And I think what that the piece that they put into the fights that I think is cool. So you remember when you played Tekken and when you would do like a power move, it would have like the electricity, or you could see like that poof explosion thing when you hit somebody real good.
Yeah.
They do that in the anime.
Nice.
So I thought that was really
What
cool.
about what about the slow mos when the match about to end, or am I getting it confused with Soul Calibur? Tekken did that too, right?
They do some slow mo parts, like they have pieces where like if Jin's about to do like this badass move, they'll slow it down and then come back
Bet.
into it. So that's it's nice. It's a origin. I think if Netflix continues to put out series of Tekken Bloodline, I think we might get some really good shit out of this.
I'm gonna check it out today. Then I got some stuff to work on. I'm definitely gonna check it out.
So it's 6 episodes. The episodes are like 26 minutes long. So your typical anime run. So
See, what's funny, you may not be used to this, but this is actually pretty common for a couple of Japanese games because Final Fantasy 15, the story was kind of lacking, and it was a highly anticipated RPG at the JRPG at the time,
mhm,
and they actually dropped like a whole, was it an animated movie? I think it was like 3 or 4 episodes, like anime style, like 2D animation, and then they also had like a 3D, like with the CGIs and stuff, animated movie.
mhm.
And I was like, this is a interesting way to do marketing. You know what I mean? I don't know if Tekken's finna drop a new video game in the next year or so, and this gets included. But that's pretty. It's an interesting marketing strategy.
It is. I think it might be something because like Tekken 7 came out when, like 2016. It's been a minute
What
since Tekken 7 came out.
we was playing it in college, but it definitely came out after high school. So yeah, either 2016, 2017.
Yeah, somewhere in that area. So Tekken 7's been out for a while, and I think this just might be another avenue that they're taking because it's been a I wouldn't say it's been a long time. Of course, he had to bring his statue out. But I wouldn't say it's been a long time since Mortal Kombat 11 came out. We were still in college, but I think it was closer to like what 2018, 2019 when Mortal Kombat 11 dropped.
Yeah, because I was still playing Mortal Kombat X like freshman year of college. Mortal Kombat 11 was like junior or senior year.
Okay, so I don't know. This could just be, something that's like, okay, HBO Max is doing the Mortal Kombat thing. Let's bring back Tekken. And I think this could do good if they keep adding
Okay.
seasons to this. Now, maybe next episode I'll come back after seeing the final 2 episodes and be like, "Nah, y'all, I was
This was
this
trash.
I have to take back everything I said, but we'll see." I've also watched the first episode of She-Hulk for my Marvel fans listening. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the series yet. It was interesting enough that I want to watch the rest of the series, but it didn't grab me. I think I want to compare my episode 1 reaction of She-Hulk to my episode 1 reaction of Miss Marvel. And Miss Marvel completely grabbed me. The coming of age story, the art style, the music that they decided to do with Miss Marvel um grabbed me like on like first episode I was hooked. She-Hulk, it had its good moments in it, but I'm not entirely sure I'm hooked on the series yet. I think I need to watch a couple more episodes. So that is my non-spoiler review of She-Hulk episode 1 for my Marvel fans
All right.
listening. So once we get some more episodes under our belt, we'll come back and have a She-Hulk conversation. So,
Okay.
and I want to get into my music right quick. Have you listened to Megan Thee Stallion's new album, Ron?
Listen, bro, I got a backlog of stuff I need to listen to. I am behind. I'm behind on Meg. I'm behind on Beyonce. I hear the songs that come on TikTok, but I ain't been caught up.
Meg put it in. She ate.
She did?
She ate on this album. She came in the studio with violence on this album. My favorites off this album, the first song immediately, NDA, was like, okay, Meg. Ungrateful with Key Glock. I loved it. Especially because we talked about this last episode where I have a pet peeve of male rappers hopping on female rappers' tracks and you don't match the flow. Or the issue that I had with Pressurelicious with Future was that it felt like a Future song instead of a Megan Thee Stallion song. But Key Glock matched Megan's flow perfectly, and I was like, yes, this was nice. You guys should
She
do
said,
this.
snap, snap.
You guys should do this again. And I also like Gift and a Curse off the album. Those are the ones that I got on repeat. The rest of the album is nice. If you've not listened to Traumazine by Megan Thee Stallion, put that on your backlog. Put that on your to-do list.
Okay. Okay, so you've been doing all right in life. You've been doing all right.
I've been doing all right. School's about to start back up, so we'll see next episode how well I'm doing in life. Now that I'm gonna be back in school, we'll see. We'll catch up.
See, I don't know if you noticed, but these collections getting kind of
I gotta
deep.
expose Ron. Ron is a bad influence on me. I have bought 5 to 6 Funko Pops since the last time we've recorded.
Diamond edition. Hey, listen, bro. I need to tell the audience this. When I find something that I know my friends are going to like, and I know they're going to like it, I have to put them on. I have to put them on. And Portia is my splurging buddy.
I have bought so many Funko Pops, bro. I have one coming in today. This is how bad it's in.
There you go.
But it's fun. Like, let me tell you my journey of like buying Funko Pops. When I first bought Funko Pops, I saw them like as toys. So, you pull them out the box, put them where I want to.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, I did see people like collecting Funko Pops and just keeping them in the box. And I'm just like, yo, it's a toy. Pull it out. But like now collecting them and just seeing the boxes like stack up, it's fun. It's fun.
See, I used to think they were ugly, bro. Like, I was like, what type of little chibi toys is this? I was like, people buying these? But what happened was, and you can see the journey, when I started buying manga, I said, my bookshelf just looks a little dry. You know what I'm saying?
So you bought some Funkos.
Yeah, I was like, these will just go really well with everything on the bookshelf, and they match.
It's fun, I think, and some of them have been a bit expensive, and some of them has been like pretty cheap. But I don't know. It's just.
What's the most you spent on a Funko?
I spent $62 on a Sailor Moon Funko. It was Usagi though. The one that I'm gonna have to think about, that I'm gonna have to get many days of sleep on, is that there's a Sailor Mercury Funko Pop that is $150. I'm gonna have to sleep on. I'm going to have to sleep on that one. That just may be the one that's gonna be missing from the collection, because ain't no way.
It's probably vaulted just like all the Soul Eater ones are. Because I'm gonna get Black Star. He's in the mail, but Maka and Soul, are like $250 and $300 each.
Yo,
I said no.
for my Sailor Moon fans, there is a black lady. So this is Chibiusa when they transform her into a grown ass adult Funko. That is $230.
Mm,
That is disgusting, and I'm not getting it. Like
mm.
collecting Funkos are fun, but I just don't think it would ever get that serious where I would pay over. I'm not paying $100 for a Funko Pop. I would be happy taking that L.
Same.
I'm happy taking that L. And if I just don't get my Sailor Mercury Funko Pop, I'm just not. The collection will just not be complete. It is okay.
Look, it be like that. Some of these folks be balling on a budget for Funkos.
It's
Like,
it would never get that
mm-mm.
because at the end of the day, the Funkos are cute. There's so many Funkos that you can get. Like they're even getting like the big size. Like I have a Batman Funko that's like this
One of them
this
10-inch
big.
Funkos or the
Yeah,
7-inch, 6-inchers.
I
Yeah.
I got like the big one. It was $25 at Walmart, so I was like, okay, why not? But like, there's so many Funkos that I don't know. I'm not paying $100 for a Funko Pop. That's just it's
Yeah.
not gonna happen.
She said, "This ain't no exclusive pair of J's that I can actually wear
Yo, like
outside. This a
okay,
doll."
let's talk about the shoes though. I have only paid over 200 for a pair of shoes once, and that was because y'all know StockX add all them extra fees and taxes. That's the only reason why the shoe went to $200. But I have never and will never pay $200 for a pair of shoes. And Ryan, you've seen my shoe collection. None of them shoes I paid for were over $200.
It's like it's like I hear you, Pastor, but I can't agree with the sermon that you giving because
It's because you.
I blow it back on sneakers.
It's because you got big ass feet, bro. That's the only thing. It's because you got big ass.
Yeah.
Feet. Them 7.5 be making it for me.
Right. But I would say we still catching up. What's another thing I've been doing? I rewatched Jujutsu Kaisen and I finished it.
Okay.
And I gotta say, I got some Funkos coming in because they dropping a new line of them. I pre-ordered them. I gained a new appreciation for this anime. I'm gonna be honest. I let the hype die down. I watched it with fresh eyes, and I see why it got so popular. I think what a lot of people really love about it is the pacing. You know, when you was watching, you finished off Naruto, right?
Yeah, I didn't like the pacing of JJK, but my plan was to rewatch JJK before I watched the movie because the movie's about to drop on Crunchyroll pretty soon.
Right.
So my plan was to rewatch season 1 of JJK, but the first time I watched it, I did not like the pacing. And I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think what effed me up with JJK was I watched it when everybody was hyping it up. And then I watched it and I was like, y'all, for real? So maybe I just need to sit down, like, because this was the first JJK was the first anime I watched that was surrounded by social media hype. The rest of the animes was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this one. I'm gonna watch this one. I'm gonna watch this one. And I got to enjoy it as me exploring the anime and not because y'all was down my throat telling me to watch Hunter x Hunter and Fairy Tail and Sailor Moon and Naruto and stuff like that.
But you know, that's how it was for me when I first watched Demon Slayer. When I first watched Demon Slayer, I was like, it's cool, but it don't deserve all the hype. But then I rewatched that and it was the same phenomenon. Now, Demon Slayer is one of my favorites. But JJK, here's the thing. I like the slower pacing of Naruto and the classics, how you get to feel and get to know your characters. Mm-hmm. But JJK does this thing where it gets you to all of the big points very quickly. And some people may not like it, but it does really keep you interested, especially as a seasonal anime. The story is all right when you see like what's really at risk and why Itadori's mission, like, of, hey, I'm gonna die regardless, but let me actually help people and make sure I can protect who I can. Mm-hmm. Like, when I really sat down and I looked at Gojo, like, he's mostly like a Kisuke Urahara. in terms of senseis in the anime universe, you got to watch Bleach to know what I'm talking about. He is a fun OP character, and he's done differently in comparison to, say, the Gokus in the world and some other characters, and how he actually has some political gain behind what he do. And when you look at the fact that he's in one of the 3 major clans of Jujutsu sorcery, like when I sat down and rewatched it, I was like, okay, this went up in points in terms of how I'll rate it as an anime. Is it my favorite out of the new gens? Not my favorite. Better than My Hero, but it's not my favorite.
I heard My Hero finna turn up. The manga readers said that My Hero finna turn up. I'm waiting to see it. I'm waiting to see it.
See, and I think it was just this last season. I feel like this last season just threw everybody off. So it was like, come on, My Hero. Because the previous season, I think, had a lot of slice of life stuff going on. Like, get to know your characters. They chilling. This is them on a regular day. And a lot of us was like, bro, we saw this bird beaked dude fight Midoriya. And that was like peak action right there.
But let's talk about the scene, what happened at the season finale before this season even started. That Endeavor versus Nomu fight
was cold.
And then so the way they ended the season was like, bro. And then I think this season was basically like a filler season, like what's gonna set the stage, because they had to bring up the fact that Deku has a new ability. They had to touch on Endeavor being the new #1 hero now, and how he's adapting to that. They got a lot into like him trying to do like his redemption and his relationship with Todoroki. They also basically brought in the fact that Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki are going to be the big 3 of My Hero. And they are already getting them in that. And then they stop focusing on UA and they start focusing on the League of Villains, and basically how their progression of how they're about to, stand out. Because they basically, all of them resolve in those episodes, they resolve like some issues, like whatever wall blocking they had that stopped them from like reaching like full villain potential. That whole My Villain Academia art gave that to them. So I think this was just
it's a setup.
I feel like this whole season was like a filler arc. It was a setup, and I think I'm hoping that season 6 is going to take off. That we're about to get into some real deal shit. Like we're about to start getting episodes when they had to fight old dude in that alley, where Todoroki, Deku,
with
Stain, when they had to fight him in that alley. Maybe we're about to get back to some stuff like that. But
Stain is one of my favorite antagonists, not even gonna lie. I liked him.
But I want to spin the block on Bleach, because you brought up Bleach when you were talking about JJK. And we're about to get into the first topic of the day. Disney bought the streaming rights. They won the streaming war. They have the streaming rights to Bleach 1,000-Year War. And there is so many things that come out of that one statement. One, Disney has just bought the streaming rights to one of the big 3. Before that, they already bought the whole catalog to Bleach. Disney owns the entire catalog of Bleach and has just gotten the streaming rights to Bleach 1,000-Year War. 1. 2. What does this mean for streaming services going forward? Because I just found this out today. Disney Plus has just surpassed Netflix as being the top streaming service in the world. So, is this Disney officially putting their foot in the door as it comes to anime? Because the rumor is, along with this, is that Disney Plus is making preparations to have an anime tab on Disney Plus. And they could be using Bleach to market that.
That's they poster boy now. Ichigo, they poster boy. Like, we
Hey,
got anime,
look,
Bleach.
right. Like, here's our new anime tab. Like, for those who have Disney Plus, when you hop on Disney Plus and they have that big billboard where they show you all the new stuff that's coming, Bleach is about to be up there. It is about to be up there. So there are some hesitation. Well, I won't say hesitation. There is some concerns with Disney Plus buying Bleach.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is that we do not know how Disney is planning to release Bleach. We are currently used to us getting the episode an hour after the Japanese release on Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm.
We do not know if Disney Plus is planning to do the same thing. We do not know if Viz Media put it in the contract that Disney Plus has to release Bleach the way that we're used to getting new anime episodes. So it's either we're going to get Bleach an hour after the Japanese release as usual, or is Disney Plus going to pull we're going to give you guys episodes in bulk. Now, to me,
See,
if Disney is smart, this whole acquisition is a power play, like a off the wall power.
acquisition.
What the?
You say acquisition.
My bad. Acquisition. This whole acquisition. Did I say it wrong again, or I said it right?
Hey, keep going. We know what you were trying to say. We know what you're
I
trying to say.
said it wrong again.
Yeah, you said accusation. You
Man,
said accusation
listen.
and acquisition at the same time.
This whole purchase, that's how I'm gonna say it going forward. This whole purchase is in this day and age is the biggest power play that Disney could have ever done. And if they were smart, they should release the episodes as usual. If they're planned, because I feel like Disney is trying to be that streaming service, the streaming service. And if you want to be the streaming service with anime, you have to that is the one thing you have to do.
And here's the thing. Here's the politics. Because somebody who isn't a huge anime fan, or they kind of jumped on the anime train after all of these seasons of the big three and the next gen shonens were already on Hulu and Crunchyroll. Here's the thing. Prior to the rise of streaming services, a lot of folks in the West were watching their anime not in the most legal fashion. We utilized other websites. I'm not going to admit to anything because this is online.
Y'all was pirates out here. Y'all was pirates.
Sticky Beard, Candy Beard, all of them was out here. But the thing with it is, the Western anime fans and the Eastern anime fans, even though it's like, an issue of communication because of language barriers and all of that, usually we're on the same level of hype. Like when a manga chapter releases, the manga fans are all over YouTube talking about it. They're all over Twitter. We're all reading it in English subs. Same for the episode simulcast.
Mm-hmm.
So if Disney, I'm hoping their executives or the folks over Disney Plus are aware of the anime community and how we digest our content, because conversations get started when there's an episode every week.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the fandoms are able to talk. We're talking about the fights. We're talking about what's going to happen next. We're saying, hey, manga readers, don't spoil nothing. I read Bleach, so I'm gonna try not to spoil y'all. And it keeps the train going.
Yeah.
But if Disney sits here and say, we're going to release it like seasonally, after 24 episodes or 12 episodes to drop,
they can't do that.
We're going to put it on Disney Plus platform, which they did with another one of their animes. That's going to ruin the fandoms because these folks are going to base.
They can't do that with this one. Now, I didn't know. I didn't know they've done it before, but this one specifically, they cannot do that. Let me say this, because this is the other thing with Disney buying the streaming rights to a big three anime. We already know why they bought it. They want that anime community in their money bucket. So we know why they bought it, but to keep that audience that you just brought in, you're going to have to release it the way that we're used to.
Exactly. And that's why I hope that they're in touch with the anime community, because you can really ruin a brand. It's not even just on Disney. If they can ruin themselves and make this, they can really not get the most bang for their buck if they don't release this episodically. If you release this episodically at the same time as Japan, guess what? Right before the next fight, drop some merch. With each new episode, drop some advertisements. Do a highlight clip of the first 6 episodes so that more people who may not even be that fond of Bleach or who may not be that into anime can go, this do look nice. These fights are cold.
Hey,
let me look into this.
Listen.
But if you drop it in bulk, you kill off a lot of conversations.
Mm-hmm.
You kill off a lot of hype,
and you lose.
You
money.
don't even allow.
They're going to. You're going to lose money, and if we know anything about Disney, is that we know Disney like they money.
They want that guap.
They want that guap. So I feel like they're going to have to release the episodes the way that us as an anime community are used to digesting them, or you are going to lose money. Like the whole, your whole point of buying the streaming rights to Bleach go down the drain if you choose to release episodes in bulk. And this is not like, because I'm going to give you an example of Disney Plus releasing episodes in bulk, but it works out. When I was watching Owl House, they were releasing the episodes on like Disney Channel, because Disney Channel's still a thing. And then they have their Disney Now out that still gets the weekly episodes. So you still had 2 other mediums to watch the episode instead of waiting for it to drop on Disney Plus. So that's different because you already have 2 other mediums to stream this content. As far as we know, we don't know if Disney Plus has another medium for streaming Bleach. It right now, let's say they don't. They cannot. It's not gonna work. You releasing these episodes in bulk, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Exactly.
It's not gonna work. So the other thing that people were concerned about, and this got shut down pretty quickly, but Disney Plus censoring pieces of the anime, which I've been told they cannot do because
they won't.
But I didn't. So here's my thing. I understand the concern, but let's talk about this. When Disney removed the Netflix Marvel shows from Netflix, all of those shows were very mature. They had very mature content that at the time, what the position that Disney Plus was in, you wouldn't see that material strictly on Disney Plus. Like you could see them sliding that to Hulu because most of their mature content that's not strictly Disney is on Hulu. But what Disney did was up the parental controls. So now on the account, you can choose to accept mature content showing up on your Disney Plus feed or not. So them saying that they're scared that Disney is going to censor some stuff, I feel like that concern was kind of non-existent when they pulled over the mature shows from Disney Plus and made the switch of the parental controls to allow certain content to be shown. So obviously they already have the steps in place that, because we know anime is outside of their box, but on a basis like that, I don't think they're looking into censorship.
See, and that's the thing. I feel like people are still used to old Disney and don't realize that Disney is honestly on the train towards evolution as a company.
Right.
Because they got to keep all of their fans. Like, they own Fox. They own FX. They own all of this.
They are about to put, if they have not already done it, put Logan and Deadpool on Disney Plus.
Exactly.
If they have not censored those 2, I feel like there is a safe bet that nothing in Bleach is going to get censored.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I feel like people kind of need to get that illusion out of their head that, oh, Disney's too safe. No, they going to get this 18 plus content out to the folks who want to see it because that's money. That's all of us. There's Disney fans who are 25 that want to see some bloodshed.
I said
And
this
they're going to
once.
get that money.
I said this once and I said it again. Disney, I think Disney is trying to make Disney Plus that service.
Yeah. And even when it comes to anime, I guess this will be my last point. I'm kind of glad that Disney is competing against Crunchyroll because anybody who studies economy, competition is good so that people can constantly compete, and that's better for the consumer in terms of the product and services we get. Because when Funimation by Sony, who's owned by Sony, that conglomerate, bought Crunchyroll and essentially kind of like still in the process of merging those two apps, that's the go-to place for anime.
And we talked about this.
But
you remember we before the merger happened, we talked about what would Disney Plus do if Crunchyroll and Funimation merge. And this is it.
This is it. They said we're gonna jump put our foot in this water, we're gonna dip our toe in the water, and we're gonna jump in this fight. And this was a great way to jump into the fight because one of the most anticipated animes next to Bleach. I mean, next to Chainsaw Man and the following up season for Demon Slayer is Bleach. Attack on Titan about to end.
They made a
Chainsaw Man hopefully garner support, but Bleach is
they made a big
move.
Like they said, we are about to move into anime and we are going to make the biggest step into anime that you have ever seen. Like they did not play. Disney did not play this purchase safe at all.
I feel like they did a great job. I want to see the competition. I want to see Crunchyroll. I want them to update their UI some more. I want some more consumer friendly. I want them to get their UX team and get it on and popping. Because now y'all competition is one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world.
Ooh, it's about to be
one of the biggest.
It's about to be. The streaming wars are back, y'all, and the war has been going on. We'll get into another piece of the streaming war, but the current battle is anime. And Disney Plus brought nuclear weapons. They dropping nukes. But another thing Disney has done, and this is them taking another step into another industry that they don't really touch on a lot. Gaming. Disney announced that they are having their first Disney and Marvel gaming showcase on September 9th, 2022. The content that is going to be included in this gaming showcase is going to be Disney, Pixar, 20th Century Studios, which we know was Fox, Lucasfilm, that's Star Wars, and Marvel. And I think this right here touches...
That's crazy.
This touches back on something that we talked about, but we were talking about... We were doing our Foot Locker StockX conversation. This is another straight-to-consumer move. Because before, we were seeing Disney games being showcased as part of State of Play, Spider-Man, Midnight Suns, Avengers, and then Nintendo as well. Because I remember we were watching Nintendo Direct and they debuted some Disney racing game. They are cutting the middleman out. They are cutting out Nintendo. They are cutting out PlayStation. They are cutting out Xbox if they ever showcase anything through Xbox. They are cutting out the middleman and saying that if y'all want to know what's up with Star Wars games, Marvel games, Disney games, 20th Century Fox games,
come see us.
This is us.
See, and this is really big. Obviously, I feel like E3's lost its value. I've been said that. The gaming industry has shifted to where all of these companies are talking directly to their consumers in their own showcases. But let me tell you something, bro. Look at all the names you just passed out. There's already a game that has the same voice actors and a similar theme to Rick and Morty that's coming out. Remember that little shooting game? I don't remember if that was Xbox's showcase or somebody else's where the gun talked to you and they're collecting the different versions of it.
Yeah.
Disney, Lucasfilms. Some more. Are we going to get a new Star Wars RPG? Marvel, we just heard about an Iron Man game that got scrapped. Are we finna see different other hero-based games? Are we finna create our own hero that joins the Avengers? We have no idea. Access to Deadpool, X-Men, we have no idea what games they're going to drop now, bro. And I'm excited because one of my favorite games that I wish they brought back is Spectros. And that was a Disney IP. They had 2 DS games and 1 Wii game. I felt like that game could have been the biggest competitor to Pokemon. That's a strong statement. But in terms of a monster collection game, they had space travel. You could dig up fossils. They had evolutions. You could incubate the Spectro monsters. And I felt like that was their biggest competitor to Pokemon. I want that to come back. But there is no telling what they're going to drop, bro. There's no telling what they're going to drop.
Right now, this is huge. I have to see the showcase before I put my full opinion on how beneficial this is going to be for Disney. This is huge in itself for them to have their own showcase for gaming. But I have to see the showcase. I have to see what games they're going to be marketing. What are you guys putting out or what are you guys developing that made you think, oh, we need a solo show. We need a Disney showcase for this.
Mm-hmm.
I have to see the showcase. But I wanted to bring this up because gaming and anime.
Y'all are already dominating in film and theater. Y'all already got some of the top TV shows. Netflix competes with their Netflix originals. HBO Max competes with like some of the live action Euphoria and all that good stuff. But Disney finna monopolize, bro.
Like
someone get the government.
Like this is like we thought it was bad before when they were just collecting studios, when Marvel, Lucasfilms, Fox, we was like, okay guys, whoa. But this right here, Disney is trying to be that company. They are trying to make Disney Plus that service. What's going to happen when Disney grows their anime catalog so wide that somebody ups and says, why am I paying for Crunchyroll?
And look at their competitor, because Crunchyroll is owned by Sony, but I beg to argue, if we had to say who got some money to throw at streaming rights, I think Disney got Sony beat. I think Disney got Sony beat. They all about entertainment.
This is going to be interesting with all of the new gen animes that are about to come out. It's no longer, because I think we were so accustomed to, okay, a new anime is coming out, I'm going to watch it on Crunchyroll. I think it was just like a thought that passed through your head and you never really thought about it. This right here, we are about to sit and wait to see what new animes are going to pop up on what service.
Exactly, bro. Because I was in a group where I ain't got to pay for Disney. I'm not too into the princesses. I like Marvel, but I don't need it.
They got them. They got them. Ladies and gentlemen, they got them. They got them. Ladies and gentlemen, they got them. That is it just happened. Their business plan just happened right here. The whole time, Ryan has not paid for Disney Plus, but guess what?
Never.
He gotta pay for it. He gotta pay for it. It just happened. This just happened in real time.
Because Bleach is that big. Bleach is that big to where I'm like, it is worth it. To watch it in HD, 4K, whatever resolution they're going to set it to, it's worth it. It's Bleach.
They got him. You just saw Disney monopolization in real time. Y'all just saw it.
You're right.
Man, but I want to step away from Disney because the streaming wars does not stop with Disney. We have to talk about Warner Brothers Discovery, their new name, because Warner Brothers and Discovery have merged, and the DC news that has been coming out, somebody is in danger. somebody is in danger. So let's start with the list of events. One, they canceled the Batgirl movie. A $70 million movie from Warner Brothers got canceled following this
Trash
merger.
move.
Following this merger. Then they announced that they have a 10-year plan, or they're in the process of making a 10-year plan that is going to emulate the MCU. They put
Bad move.
some projects on hold. We're gonna get into this, but I have to list this out. The Supergirl project, the Black Superman project, Static Shock, and Green Lantern have the production on all of those have slowed down. Matt Reeves' The Batman sequel has not been greenlit, even though they're working on it. And live action shows that originated on DC Universe, when DC Universe was a thing, Titans and Doom Patrol, are expected to be canceled. However, let's talk about the movies that are still greenlit, because we about to get into it. Black Adam, Shazam, Blue Beetle, the Black Canary movie, the Aquaman sequel, and the Flash movie are still expected to be released. So it's like they're doing a soft, clean house. But let's go ahead and get into these hot takes. The first thing I want to talk about is the list of the projects that I listed that production has either stopped or slowed down are Black and female-led projects. So let's go ahead and start with the Batgirl movie. The Batgirl movie got canceled. The actress who was supposed to play Batgirl, Leslie Grace, is Black. And let's go ahead and do the comparison. It came out that the first preview, the pre-audience who saw Batgirl, gave it a low score. So I guess that news was released to justify them canceling Batgirl. However, it then came out that Batgirl and Black Adam got the same audience score, and Black Adam is still going to theaters. But we already know. Who's the
actor for the Black Adam? Who's the actor for Black Adam?
We already know why Black Adam is still going to theaters, because it's The Rock. But let me say this, because when I first saw the trailer for Black Adam, I was basically like, this is just The Rock in a costume. This is The Rock doing cosplay in a DCEU movie. I'm excited for Black Adam just to see Dr. Fate, Hawkman, and Cyclone. But looking at The Rock in the Black Adam costume, this is basically The Rock doing cosplay.
But you know why, Phoop? The reason that they released that movie is the same reason Fast and Furious added The Rock in the first place. The Rock is going to garner support just because of who he is. People watch movies with The Rock regardless of the theme, regardless of the setting, regardless of who else is in the movie, because they just love him as an actor. Even if they got the same rating, I would, if I was in an enterprise company, if I was in one of the teams, like, hey bro, we can only drop one, I'm gonna place my bets on the movie that got The Rock too.
Okay, but let me counterpoint you. You said if you had to choose one. Was this even a one or the other type thing? Because Batgirl was going straight.
I doubt it.
Batgirl was going straight to HBO Max. This was going to be a HBO Max exclusive. This wasn't going to theaters. We knew Black Adam was going to theaters. You can't make a movie with The Rock in it and not put it in the movie theater. We knew that off rip. So I don't think this was a one or the other thing. The statement that came out from the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery said that we are not going to put out a movie unless we believe in it. So I guess what I'm just trying to get at is that you're sending, basically, let's go ahead and put it out there, except for the Black Canary movie and Blue Beetle, is we're sending out these white male lead movies to the front lines. And what it's looking like from a consumer that the black and female-led projects are being put on the back burner. So what does he necessarily mean about we're not going to put out a movie unless we believe in it? Were these projects necessarily not fitting the vision? Or is diversity not the priority with this new 10-year plan that DC has going forward? Because
You just made a powerful statement right there. You made a very powerful statement. I don't know if you noticed it. Is diversity the priority? And here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's a very powerful statement. If it is not, or it is number 2 or number 3, then what is the priority?
and let's get into
Because
it.
if y'all are saying that these movies, like we're speaking in hypothetical, if the priority for those movies was diversity, but say someone actually sat down and said, "Hey, the story is kind of lacking," or whatever, I'm gonna say y'all probably did a good move. I'm gonna say it's probably a good move. But if y'all was saying diversity isn't the issue, isn't a priority, but it was diverse and had a good story and had great potential, can you give me some more reasoning as to behind
And
y'all why y'all ain't dropping
and I
it?
don't know. I don't know. I'm not in the boardroom with Warner Brothers, but I want to get in. Is the priority the 10-year plan? Because this is what they're trying to say, is that they're coming up with a 10-year plan to revamp the DC universe, and it's going
Mm-hmm.
to emulate the MCU. I applaud Warner Brothers for stating that they have a plan, because the previous plan of releasing a Superman solo movie, releasing a Superman versus Batman movie that also has Wonder Woman in it, and then jumping straight to Justice League was not a good plan.
Not at all.
I applaud Warner Brothers for having a plan. 10 years, I think, is a bit lengthy. But what does a 10-year plan mean? Does a 10-year plan mean that we're going to plan all of the DCEU movies for the next 10 years? Or is the 10-year plan kind of set up kind of like, for these years are going to be considered phase 1 if we're going to emulate the MCU, and then these years are going to be considered phase 2, and then these years are going to be considered phase 3, and we have a general idea of where we want all of this to lead up to, but we just don't know the specifics. Is that the 10-year plan? Or what comprises of a 10-year plan for the DC universe? And why?
What's funny?
And going back to our what's the priority, because they're still sending out previously planned DCEU movies that were already set to release before this merger and before this 10-year plan was announced. But then you have productions that were announced, that they did announce were coming, that you guys are putting on hold.
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing, because remember when we had the conversation, and we like a few episodes back, and we were like, DC don't even have to connect their movies, to be honest. In all honesty, we agreed that they'll probably do a better job just making individual movies, have them in separate storylines, do it like the comic books, and just invest in quality and story for those specific individual movies standalone.
I think we're
And
living in an age, though, as much as we would want that, I think we're living in an age to where universe building is becoming a trend. It's becoming huge, because let's step outside of DC and let's step outside of Marvel. The Game of Thrones franchise coming out with House of the Dragon is extending that universe. There's no
you're right.
telling what they're gonna do with Lord of the Rings once Rings of Power comes out, of how they're going to expand on that. Star Wars is continuously being expanded as part of the universe.
Yeah.
We talked about this last episode with the Avatar universe. They're now investing to expand that universe. So universe expanding.
Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts.
Right. Universe expansion is becoming a trend. So as much as we would like them to take a different avenue, I think they're gonna go for universe building, and I think this 10-year plan is for them to actually sit down and think about what universe they are trying to build. And the DC universe has so many stories that they could space out in this 10-year plan. It's just that how is this 10-year plan being set up? You know?
I want to know what the foundation is. Like for example, we have all of the DC comics and all of the animated movies. The animated movies, Foop, I'll always give you credit for putting me on to them. What type of plan are y'all trying to build in terms of, are y'all trying to align with the animated movies and the comics? Like, who is the person that is, how do we know that the person who y'all are deciding to lead or champion this plan is actually going to make something that the DC fans want? Or are y'all just trying to create something new or more are y'all trying to be a little bit more risque and then not deliver? Because y'all already tried doing the universe. Y'all failed. Y'all already tried doing it.
So let's go back to the fact that they said they're trying to emulate the MCU. So we already know that the MCU does pull references and storylines from the comic books, but they don't do them exactly.
Right.
So I'm not expecting the DCEU, even if they choose to keep that name going forward, to be side by side with the comic books or side by side with the animated movies, because the animated movies, they don't align with the comics either. They do them really well, but some of the animated movies have not aligned with the comics. They have made small tweaks in the animated movies based off the comic book or graphic novel or the story that they were adapting from. So I
Okay.
don't see the DCEU aligning with the comic books or the animated movies at all. But I think something that the DCEU did, they did try to align with the comics. If we just want to talk about Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, there was some comic book truth in their origins. But I think what I'm wary of, which messed them up the first time, is the pacing. So I don't doubt that they can tell a good story. I doubt of what is the pacing that is going to give us that good story. Because doing 2 movies and then hopping to Justice League is not the move.
Justice League need to be pushed back.
Like, Justice League should have been a thing that... Let's talk about when the DCEU started with Man of Steel. And this came out like when I was still in high school.
Yeah.
Justice League should have been something that we should have been expecting in like maybe 2018, 2019. Given the roster that they had, Man of Steel got us the solo Superman film. Superman Batman was supposed to give us a little bitty Batman origin and how Superman and Batman link up, but it was like, you guys could have waited for that. I think you guys should have gave more focus to like the outliers that have never touched the big screen. Wonder Woman, they did great with the Wonder Woman solo movie. I forgot they did that. So Wonder Woman did come out before Justice League did. I'll give them props for
the first one.
I'll give them props for that. But new people coming to the stage like Aquaman and Cyborg, I think you guys should have took the time to integrate them in other people's movies. Like, even if you wanted to do the big 3, at least introduce the other people who are coming and not wait till Justice League, because I'll give the Snyder Cut this. The Snyder Cut of Justice League did take the time to focus on the origins of Cyborg, The Flash, and Aquaman, to where we would get some context of why are you guys in this movie and we haven't seen you in anybody else's movie, or you don't have a solo film. I'll give the Snyder Cut that, but it took you guys 4 hours to do that.
And that's the thing. I hope that they slow down and they actually sit here and say, hey, let's break down these solo films and build a spider web of great films that can then connect to Justice League. Because I feel like they wanted to jump onto the Avengers train because they just assumed that fans seeing this big group battle is everything we wanted. But here's the thing, there's a lot of stuff that ties into that. Seeing these characters we were able to fall in love with or hate individually is what made Avengers so good. The
Right.
plot for Avengers was great. The action was great. But being able to see each of these heroes and develop a
And
relationship with
we know
them.
the previous previous knowledge. Like this is not us. This
Exactly.
is not us meeting Captain America for the first time. We know Captain America's origin story. We know where he's coming from. We got 2 Iron Man movies before we got 2 Avengers, so we know what point in time Tony Stark is in. We got like the lesser figures like Hawkeye and Black Widow, like, but we saw them in Thor, we saw them in Iron Man. We got to see these people, so we all knew where everybody was coming from by the time we got to Avengers.
Exactly. You ain't just stuff 6, 7 people in a room and say, go fight an alien. No, we sat here and we saw each of these people evolve, grow, their foundations, who they are, what they stand for. And then we said, now, having that information, let's put y'all in a room and we're going to give y'all high stakes. That's what made Avengers so great. And DC tried to rush to that.
And it did not come
and
out well.
they ruined their foundation.
But I want to go back to the projects that they're putting on hold versus the projects that they're sending forward. So we don't know when this 10-year plan is going to be announced, but for the meantime, I'll give them Black Adam. It's The Rock. They have to send that going forward. I just don't see them dropping the ball.
Yeah.
I'll give them Shazam. Blue Beetle and Black Canary are outliers because Black Canary is being played by I hate that I can't remember her name right now, but the actress from Lovecraft Country. And Blue Beetle has I want to say I think he has like Native American origins. Like so I'll give them those 2 for still being greenlit. But Aquaman and the Flash, and we already know the propaganda happening around the Flash movie. And you guys are still greenlighting it?
I barely even invested time and effort into knowing all the politics going behind that. And I even see the issues going on because it's that popular at the moment.
I see it as this. I see it as 2 ways. One, I would like to know where diversity is the priority as far as this 10-year plan in this merger, because it just looking at the decisions from the outside is like, you guys do realize you put all of the Black and female led projects on hold. Are we not seeing that? 2, I see it as that the movies that they are sending forward, for some reason they cannot take a L. Now Black, we know going back, we know why they can't take a L on Black Adam.
Even if the story is trash, they gonna make money off Black Adam.
Shazam, they actually did Shazam pretty well, so I have no issues with Shazam. The Aquaman sequel, I think they're not taking an L, even though with the Amber Heard thing, they said Amber Heard didn't have a lot of screen time to begin with. But Jason Momoa is, I see him as the equivalent of the reason why they can't get rid of the Black Adam movie. Jason Momoa has a name. It is a name.
We like Jason.
It is a name. Even going back to like Game of Thrones, it is a name. And the Flash was supposed to be the movie. This actually the weirdest thing about all of this DC reset 10-year plan stuff hitting the chopping block is that the Flash was supposed to reset the DCEU anyway. They were going to pull a flashpoint in the Flash movie that was going to reset the DC universe anyway. But the fact that you guys are saying that you're coming out, you're revealing information that you guys are coming out with a 10-year plan to reset it before the movie even hits. The only reason I can see them not wanting to take a L on this movie is because there is so much special effects. I know the special effects budget in this movie was ridiculous. And that's the only way I see them not wanting to take a L on this movie, is because they spent so much on it. Because
So in this upcoming Flash movie is when he's supposed to basically go back in time and reset everything.
yeah, because Michael Keaton's in this movie. It's like they're doing a whole bunch of Flashpoint like resets.
So in what order are these movies releasing? Because if they drop the Flash after all of these, I could see them resetting and actually making sense. But if it's coming before them,
okay, let's talk about timeline. Black Adam's coming October. Aquaman was supposed to be dropping, I believe it's still dropping December 2022. Shazam and The Flash, I believe, are coming 2023, but I think Shazam is coming before Flash. So, Blue Beetle and Black Canary don't have a release date at the moment. These are just projects that are in development that did not hit the chopping block when all of this news went down. Now,
so a fan theory, if they do their Flashpoint and go back in time, would they essentially start their new DCEU or whatever DC 10-year
now
with Black Canary and Blue Beetle?
That's a good point. Now, the 10-year plan could take into account that once the Flash movie releases, this is where our 10-year plan starts. If our plan was for the Flash to reset the DC universe, our 10-year plan starts after the Flash, and we're going to fit in Blue Beetle and Black Canary as a part of that 10-year plan. Now, the other thing that I could say is that maybe our Black and female-led productions got put on hold because they don't know where these projects are going to fit in the 10-year plan. Now, that could be another thing, that they just slowed down because the Batman sequel, which is even outside of the DCEU, has not been greenlit either. So we don't know if they're going to continue with this outside Batman story, or if, and I hate it, I said this when we reviewed the Batman, I hate it, or if they're going to find a way to try to include that into the 10-year plan. There is a lot of unknowns, but I guess the look of it does not look good to me. As a DC fan, this is not looking good to me.
As a Blerd, not a nerd, as a
Blerd, this is not looking good to me. So at the end of the day, to just cut this conversation off because we're touching on hour 7, but I need to see the vision. I need to see the plan. And I don't know when we'll be able to see the plan. It may be after the Flash, it may be before the Flash, but I need to see the plan. I don't believe in this 10-year plan. Not yet. Not with all of the news and stuff that's been coming out, even outside of the DC universe. It is not looking good to me. I do not believe in the plan right now.
She ended this episode on a solemn statement.
I don't believe in the plan right now. I'm excited that they have a plan, but I do need to see. I need to see the vision.
I'm cautiously pessimistic.
Right. Cause like you guys having a plan is like woo, cause what we've seen in the past is like, what are you guys doing? Like, what is the plan? So you guys saying you have a plan, thumbs up. The things that you guys have been doing, like, it's like, I'm looking at this like this is madness. Like, there might be some method to the madness, but we just haven't seen it yet. But to me, I do not have warm fuzzies. I don't. I don't have warm fuzzies about this. So we're going to cut the episode short right here. I want to thank you, Ryan, for joining me on another episode of the Blerd Mob. I want to thank everybody who's been listening to the Blerd Mob since we started, or if, you joined in 2022, then we're glad to have you. Whether this is your first time listening or your 50th time listening, the support is always welcome. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at the Blerd Mob Pod. Follow us on Twitter at the Blerd Mob. You can find us on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at the Blerd Mob Podcast. I think that's all our social media handles.
Yeah, we got a lot.
Yeah.
Look for that little purple logo and you'll see
Click
us.
the link in the bio and you'll see.
Click the link in the bio.
Click the link in the bio and you'll see everything. But with that said, this is the mob checking out. Peace.
Hands up. If you loving where you at, stand 10 toes down. Shawty ain't no looking mad. You can let them haters hate when they answer where I'm smiling. I just tell them life's great.